Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these videos every single weekday talking about what's going on in the markets. And we will finish off today's stream with some Bitcoin analysis as well. We have a huge amount of news to discuss today as always, so let's get started. Let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin. We have Bitcoin sat at $26,230. Unfortunately, we are down another 1.8% within the last 24 hours, and Ethereum is currently sat at $1,785, so down another 1.7%. Now, we have seen some movements to the downside this week. Monday, we started off with a good start to the week, but it's not managed to hold that position, unfortunately. We have seen some breakthroughs of some important levels of support. We will be talking about that at the end of today's stream, so make sure to stay tuned. And before we get into today's news, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification button. The chat is incredibly active today and I absolutely love that, so thank you very much. And let's take a look at what is going on in the news anyway. Let's set this all up. First of all, we have heard from Mark Cuban, who is on Shark Tank, which is essentially the US version of Dragon's Den. He shared how crypto projects can avoid the SEC's attacks. Now, the SEC has been going after many different cryptocurrency projects within the last couple of months. If you've tuned into these live streams before, you've probably heard me rant about the SEC and Gary Gensler. It's a daily activity here on the channel, but we can see here that now Mark Cuban believes crypto projects can avoid conflicts with the SEC by embracing true decentralization. So the SEC has labeled several tokens as securities since the beginning of the year, with the latest being Filecoin. Now, to determine whether an asset is a security, we use the Howey test. The Howey test is 4 conditions, and if all of the conditions are met, that means that that asset is a security. This Howey test was created in the 1940s. This is a very outdated test, and I would say there's an element of bias involved with deciding whether those conditions have actually been met. Many different cryptocurrency people and cryptocurrency projects position themselves in a way that they don't believe it makes the asset a security. However, the SEC have been saying that some of these assets are securities. There's a bit of a debate there. We've seen problems around this. I mean, the most famous example is the Ripple case. Ripple have been in a lawsuit with the SEC since December 2020. I need to check that because I keep saying that date and I need to confirm that is correctly. And that is when the SEC said, look, XRP is a security, and Ripple are saying, no, it is not. So there's many debates in the world of cryptocurrency, fighting between the SEC and cryptocurrency projects. The SEC are really stifling growth of the cryptocurrency industry in the US right now, and they have been doing so for a couple of years. So the cryptocurrency community are trying to find a way to work around this. We don't want to be fighting regulators constantly, because regulators are constantly slowing down adoption of the assets. Instead, the cryptocurrency community want to work closely with regulators, but it's becoming incredibly difficult because of the lack of clarity around regulation. Now, Michael Saylor actually made a comment last week where he said the lack of clarity is on purpose. They don't want to make it clear so that cryptocurrency companies can follow the rules. Anyway, though, the clarity around the regulation is just so unclear that it's very difficult for cryptocurrency companies to continue to grow in the US, and many are choosing to leave the US instead. So let's take a look at this article. Anyway, we've seen another token be flagged as a security. That's causing a huge amount of problems. It looks like the war between the SEC and Gary Gensler and cryptocurrencies is going to continue. I mean, we've had arguments fighting to have clarity around this regulation, and we just don't seem to be getting any. Gary Gensler seems to think that the regulation we have at the moment is fine as it is. It just doesn't seem to make sense. It doesn't really add up. A great example I talk about a lot here on the channel is Coinbase. Coinbase is now a public company as of around a year and a half ago. To go public, they were completely audited. It was all absolutely fine. Coinbase have said they've not made any major changes since then. The regulation has not changed since then, but now they've been issued with a Wells notice. How does that make sense? They were fully audited a year and a half ago and nothing's changed. And that lack of understanding is because of the lack of clarity around the regulation. And with that lack of clarity, It gives the SEC kind of free range to target and attack different cryptocurrency companies here. So we can see here that the SEC cannot fight decentralization. So the cryptocurrency companies have tried to work with regulators and operate in the correct way so that the regulators can stay happy. But upon failing to do so, some of these companies are either moving out of the jurisdiction or looking at alternative options. And true decentralization is a way that Mark Cuban thinks is how we can get around the fight with the SEC. So CUBAN has said all the token supply should be released and used in providing liquidity on decentralized finance platforms. The project should not keep treasury and must dissolve after releasing the tokens. Then there is true decentralization and no way to close the token down that I can think of. So what happens here, and this is actually something that happens pretty commonly with meme coins, is all of the liquidity goes into a liquidity pool on a decentralized platform. The creators, the founders, then renounce ownership of that contract, meaning that the owners and the creators of the token have no additional rights to the average person. And so we can all just interact with this token in the same way. And then if the founders completely dissolve and the company is dissolved, there's no way of removing that token from the network. It's a decentralized network, and the tokens are all within the network, and there's no one with extra rights to make any decisions on that. So that is a way we can do so. Cuban has also said there is anything the SEC could do or win if they did try to sue. So pro-XRP lawyer John Deaton supports Cuban's opinion, saying it is smart and probably in someone's playbook at the moment. However, Deaton insisted that the crypto industry must continue to fight for the SEC's narrative that tokens meet the definition of a security. In an investment contract, the underlying asset is never the security. And that is a good point. Yes, this decentralization, having pure decentralization, may be a way to protect a specific project from the SEC. However, we still need to continue on this battle. We still need clarity on the regulation, because we still need all of the different projects that can't be fully decentralized. For example, centralized exchanges, they're getting targeted by the SEC. The SEC is saying that centralized exchanges are offering unregistered securities. So we need to continue on this battle, because if the SEC win this and continue to fight and all of the centralized exchanges just throw their hands up in the air, that makes it very difficult for cryptocurrency users in the US. And although centralized products within cryptocurrency are not exactly why we are here. We're here for the decentralization, for the transparency. Some of these centralized or more centralized projects are something that are really useful tools to onboard more users into the space. So although we always say not your keys, not your crypto, keep everything all your private keys offline, try and have complete control of your funds and don't use centralized exchanges, they do still have their benefits, especially for new people within the space. So we do need to continue fighting the battle. We can't just ignore anything in between, because we have centralization and we have decentralization, and it's those things in the middle that help onboard more users and push more people over to the decentralization of Web3. So let's take a look anyway at the next piece of this article. Now, we did talk about this yesterday very, very quickly on the same token, talking about decentralization, talking about the XRP case. We have seen a major breakthrough this week, because we are going to find some after Hinman's speech documents by 13th of June, which could contain evidence that XRP does not meet all aspects of the Howey test. We are going to, some details are going to be released on the 13th of June, I believe. Here's the article that we discussed yesterday. On the 13th of June, key documents will be published relating to SEC members' opinions of Ether and XRP, and the emails and other papers which the SEC has been attempting to suppress could contain evidence that XRP does not meet all aspects of the Howey test. So we're all very excited to see what's in these documents on the 13th of June. It may be a major step forward for the cryptocurrency industry. I know that XRP is just one token. If XRP managed to win this lawsuit, it sets a precedent for the rest of the cryptocurrency industry. And finding out what the SEC has been saying behind doors and finding out what they've been attempting to suppress could be a major milestone in that mission. So I'm very excited to see what this holds. So if you are new around here, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss that. Especially make sure to tune in on the 13th of June when we're discussing those documents and seeing what's really happening with XRP. Now, a lot of people have speculated that the Ripple lawsuit will come to an end by the end of this year. We all have our fingers fingers crossed here, because this has been going on for a long period of time right now, and it'll be very, very interesting to see if we can come out on top as a cryptocurrency industry as a whole. So let's take a look at the next article anyway. Let's move on from that and see what else is going on. We have Elon Musk, do not bet the farm on Doge. So Tesla and Twitter CEO Elon Musk has warned investors against going all in on his favorite meme coin, Dogecoin. So Elon Musk has been long been known to be a big fan of the popular meme coin Dogecoin. However, the billionaire has issued a rare piece to those who share his enthusiasm for Dogecoin. So in a virtual conference in London, he said, "I'm not advising anyone to buy crypto or bet the farm on Dogecoin." So Musk, known as the Doge father since appearing as a guest host on Saturday Night Live in May 21, reiterated that he was not encouraging people to invest in Doge. So the CEO clarified that the meme coin is still his favorite since it has the best humor and it has dogs. But he is warning everybody that he's not giving anybody financial advice. This is what we hear from many different, I even have to say, we're not offering financial advice here on the channel. Nobody can offer financial advice unless they're a financial advisor. You need to meet all of these exceptions. And he's just kind of clearing his name here and saying it's not financial advice. I'm just a big fan. Let's move on to the next article here and see what else is going on. We have Synthex founder suggests 12 proposals to shape the future of the protocol. So the founder of the decentralized derivatives trading protocol Synthetics has submitted 12 governance proposals to move the platform into the next phase. So if you are interested in the Synthetics platform and you want to learn more about that, make sure to go to cryptosavingexpert.com to have a look at the most reliable cryptocurrency news out there. We push out the news all of the time, 24/7. If you haven't been over to cryptosavingexpert.com yet, you really should. If you go over to the website, let me zoom out so we're on the normal kind of frame here. You can see here, if you just press this big blue sign up button and you create an account here and tick that box at the bottom there, you get access to our newsletter every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. BST time, talking about the latest cryptocurrency news. It's very useful, very interesting, and it takes a big team to put that together every week. So make sure to sign up there so you don't miss out on that, and also means you get free access to all of the cryptocurrency courses as well. And we are constantly adding to this, or working hard. I do videos for every single one of these courses. So if you sign up to this and you go to these Crypto 101 courses, all of these courses have video content in, and that's all filmed by me. So there's a lot of work being put into those. It's all absolutely free, so I don't know why you wouldn't go and check it out. Go and check it out. I'd really recommend it. Let's take a look at the next one here. We have Solana increases funding for AI projects to $10 million. Solana has integrated AI with a ChatGPT plugin to enable users to carry out different activities on the network. So the Solana Foundation has increased its $1 million AI-focused strategic grants program by 900%. That is a big increase, and the increment signals that the Solana Foundation has enlarged the program's scope, as it was initially developed for small-scope projects exploring the intersection of AI and blockchain. Approximately 50 projects have already applied for the grant, and projects' eligibility depends on the tools or applications that must be publicly available for use, open-sourced, and have a source code available to the foundation. So they are really moving forward with that, and I think we'll see a lot more about AI and interacting with blockchains in the future. Let's take a look at the next one here. The Winklevoss twins encouraged by the UK's approach to crypto regulation. Now, just a couple of weeks ago, maybe around a month ago now, we did see Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, the exchange, talk to the UK regulators, and he praised how the UK regulates cryptocurrency, because we have one body that regulates cryptocurrency, and there's not this major crossover that we see within the US. And we can see here that they are encouraged by the UK's progress in clarifying crypto regulation. However, they warned UK lawmakers against politicizing the digital asset industry. So the co-founders of the Gemini crypto exchange, Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss, are on a charm offense in the UK as regulators in the US increase enforcement action in the wake of FTX's collapse in November 2022. Now, we have discussed this. Many different centralized exchanges are finding it difficult to offer all of their services within the US. Gemini specifically struggled with their earn protocol, their earn services, when they allow people to earn interest on their tokens. And we are now seeing them look at other regions to offer these services and really looking to grow their audiences elsewhere. We can see here in an interview with London City AM, the billionaire's brothers said they were encouraged by the UK's direction concerning formulating a regulatory framework for crypto. They added that earlier this week, they had met with the Financial Conduct Authority, the Bank of England, and the Lord Mayor of London, And they've said, we are encouraged by the state of regulation here. We know, obviously, the UK has a huge tradition of being a thoughtful regulator and a forward-thinking regulator, and that's why we chose to be here. There's a lot of credibility. We made that decision to invest here years ago, and we're here to express that we want to continue to do that and make the UK a home for crypto. So Gemini received an electronic money institution license from the FCA in 2020, and the brothers have been keen on the UK market ever since. So UK lawmakers should not politicise crypto like the US, and that is something that they are still being wary of. It is very common that we see with regulation. When one region makes a decision, we start to see that sort of follow elsewhere. So we can see here a House of Commons Treasury Selecting Committee report talked about crypto being gambling, which we found kind of curious. Now, this was a report last week or the week before where committee members were discussing how cryptocurrency trading is similar to gambling, specifically trading, not the entire industry. Many people disagreed with this because cryptocurrencies are much more like the traditional financial assets than they are gambling. But we can see here that Cameron Winklevoss has commented on this and said, I guess gambling is anything that can go to zero, which means that oil or gold or other commodities could also fall into that bucket, as well as venture investments. It feels like there might be a double standard on some level there. So he further pointed out that it was important for the UK to ensure the technology does not get politicised like it has in the US. Now, so we really need to be careful about this and watch out for this in the UK. The UK have said they're on a mission to become the cryptocurrency hotspot. It's been made very difficult because a lot of the banks in the UK are refusing to work with cryptocurrency companies. However, this is a really positive sign here that the Gemini twins have been looking into this a little bit further and are happy with how it's going. Now, this gambling comment last week obviously did raise concerns for everybody in the UK. Cryptocurrency trading in my opinion, should not be considered as gambling. But if they want to consider it as gambling and make it tax-free, be my guest. I just think it really undervalues the importance of the technology. It undermines the importance of the technology. It makes it seem like it's worthless, like it's nothing, like it's a complete risk, when really it's all calculated risks, just like traditional investors see and traditional traders see in traditional stock markets. Let's move on to the next article here and see what else is going on anyway. So the Montenegrin High Court revokes Do Kwon's $430,000 bail. So Do Kwon and Han Chong-jun are to remain in jail until the conclusion of the criminal proceedings regarding the document forgery charges brought against them. So Do Kwon and Han Chong-jun were both about to be put on bail for $430,000, but this was actually questioned. So let's take a look at this article, and we can see here the High Court's order comes barely 2 weeks after the Basic Court approved Do Kwon's request to be granted bail alongside June. The duo was to be placed under house arrest and the supervision of the police until the next court hearing on the 16th of June. But then what happened was they got, where's this gone? So they filed an appeal challenging the court's ruling, and then it's been revoked, so they are no longer going on to bail, which I think is a good decision here. We're talking about document forgery. This is because Do Kwon was in Montenegro on the run, and we know that he is a flight risk. In my opinion, I think this is a good decision. We want to see Do Kwon get the repercussions that he deserves. Right now we are waiting for his court case, which was on the 16th of June, did I just say? And then following that, he could be moved to the US where he faces further charges. So let's move on to the next article here and see what else is going on. We have Coinbase and Bitpanda team up to foster institutional crypto adoption in Europe. So they've announced a partnership connecting the US-based exchange with European banks, and Bitpanda will add Coinbase as an approved liquidity provider. So Vienna-based Bitpanda has announced a partnership with Coinbase. The deal will see Coinbase access Bitpanda's investment as a service solution and Bitpanda technology solutions. This will allow the US-based exchange to offer a fully regulated, flexible and scaling 24/7 trading infrastructure to their institutional clients outside of the US. Now, we've seen over and over again within the last couple of weeks, Coinbase and Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, have been making big moves forwards to try and help fight the battle for cryptocurrency on behalf of cryptocurrency against regulators in the US. Now, Coinbase has majorly struggled with this, and the CEO is really trying to push forward with regulation and trying to seek out areas in which we can improve. And now Coinbase are still continuing to struggle with the battle of facing regulation in the US, so they're focusing their efforts in other regions. So we did see them open Coinbase One, their subscription service, to Europe. That's now open in the UK, in Ireland, and in Germany, and they're looking to open it in 31 other countries in the near future as well. And that's a subscription service where you pay $30 a month and you get 0% transaction fees, and you get one-to-one not advice but help using the platform and understanding cryptocurrency, and you get some other benefits as well, I believe, to do with your tax and filling out tax forms. So that is you can see that they are definitely pivoting towards other regions. We've also seen that they are going to open a perpetual contracts derivative platform for non-US customers as well. So historically, Coinbase is really focused on the US. They are their biggest revenue source. The UK is actually the second biggest revenue source. And we can see them starting to target other regions instead of the US, because the regulation in the US and the clarity around that regulation is going to take a couple of years, I believe. So they're looking at other options here. So let's take a look at the next article here. We have ChatGPT's OpenAI could leave Europe if AI regulation is too strict. Now, we've already seen ChatGPT be banned in Italy for a short period of time around security concerns. And now we can see that ChatGPT's creator, OpenAI, could leave Europe entirely if the EU implements strict AI regulations. So OpenAI's CEO Sam Altman said on Wednesday that an exit from Europe is on the table if the company cannot comply with the yet to be passed AI regulations being considered in the EU. And drafts of the rules include a requirement that will force AI companies to disclose any copyrighted material used to develop their systems. So the current draft of the EU AI Act would be over-regulating, but we have heard it's going to get pulled back, and they are still talking about it. So they are on the edge of their seats waiting to see what can happen here. We are waiting to see how we can improve this. Obviously, regulation is a massive factor when it comes to new technology. We see this both with blockchain technology and with AI, so we need to keep an eye on that. Before we continue with today's stream, please don't forget, as always, to like and subscribe and press the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single weekday around 11-12 a.m. BST time. Now we've been through the latest news, we've got two articles here talking about the price of Bitcoin, and then we'll get onto the chart of Bitcoin as well. So let's take a look at this. Somebody says in the chat, Elon always says don't invest in my projects. We can see here, somebody else says, so many invested in Doge because of him. He has been saying this is regarding this article here, he is saying he's still a big fan, but he's just saying, I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm not telling you to invest. I mean, that doesn't stop people from investing because of him. We all know the price of Doge can move massively if he even just tweets about it. I used to profit massively off his tweets. So when he first started tweeting about Doge, I just had his tweet notifications on, and every single time he tweeted about it, I'd enter a 10x long, and then about 25 minutes later, I'd exit that position and I would have made a nice profit. It was the probability of Doge going up after one of his tweets was pretty high. It was pretty significant. So I managed to profit off that continuously. Obviously now I think he has this less smaller effect on the market. I mean, he even could have influenced the price of Bitcoin at one point in time. When Tesla accepted Bitcoin as a form of payment, the price moved. It went so high. And then when he said that it was no longer accepting Bitcoin as a price of a means of payment, the price dumped. So we could see massive movements from Elon Musk and from his tweets. I believe his effect is weaker now than it was back in 2021, but it does still have an effect. Let's take a look at this article here. So Bitcoin's compressed price action signals incoming volatility, and this is according to Glassnode. So with the ranging price, the liquidity and volume in Bitcoin are currently at a cyclical low, which often precedes high market volatility. The largest cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, could experience high volatility soon. The price has been range bound for nearly 2 weeks now, moving only by 0.13% in the last 7 days at the time of writing. So we can see here that we have had a lack of volatility, and when we usually see this, we usually see a nice move to the upside. If we take a look at this, we've got the exchange inflows across major assets. We can see that this is down at this bottom level here, and typically it could be a sign that we are about to start a nice bull market. So that's interesting news here. Let's take a look at what's going on in the next article here, because this is going to be a little bit more bearish. We can see here that Bitcoin's 31k high could be a 2023 top as the CME gap looms at $20,300. Now, I would be interested to know your thoughts on this. Now, 31k could be a high for the 2023. Now, if we take a look at the price of Bitcoin, the high we've seen so far this year is at $31,000. We've seen a nice move to the upside. We did start the year all the way down at around $16,500. That's still a 100% increase within this year if that is the top for the year. I mean, in my opinion, I'm not too concerned about this. Even if that was the case, we've seen a 100% increase this year. I'm sure we've all managed to make some nice profits off this, and the bull market starts next year. It's not that far away anymore. Anyway, that's speculation. What I should have said is the Bitcoin halving is next year. The Bitcoin halving is predicted to be in April 2024. Really doesn't feel that far away, and that is making me feel super bullish long term, so that's making me not too concerned about what's going on in the current price action. We've got around 11 months to go, and time is just going so quickly in this market. I mean, during this period of time, from the top of November 2021 to the bottom of the bear market that we've seen there, that huge move to the downside, when we were dumping from all the way up at $70,000 to $16,000. Oh, I've just completely ruined it here. We saw a 77% decline for the biggest asset in cryptocurrency. So much happened in that time. We could all keep busy and learn about what was going on. If we do see a move to the downside now, I'll be taking advantage of that opportunity, because historically, if we go to the weekly chart, let's get this up here. We can see, maybe this isn't the best chart to go on. If we go to BTC USD on the Bitstamp chart, I'm sure there's an indicator here as well that if we go to halvings, Bitcoin halving, we can see here on this chart that every single time we've seen a Bitcoin halving in history, it's been at the start of a bull market. So having that in mind makes me not fearful of what's to come this year. If the markets want to dump, I'm a long-term holder. We can see here that historically, in the year prior to the Bitcoin halving, it also has been a positive year, which makes me believe, if we're taking a look at April 2024 here, that we should have a nice profit, if history were to repeat itself, I should say, we should be in an increase from that point there in April, so at around $30,000. I'm expecting us to be a little bit higher than that in April 2024, just judging off the history and what's happened in the year prior to the halvings in the past, but we will have to keep an eye on that. But overall, if we do see a slight move to the downside, it's not something uncommon in the year prior to the Bitcoin halving. Let's put some more lines on here. So that's the year before the Bitcoin halving. Let's take a look at this one. So that one was in July. If we take a look at July over here, we can see this one had some volatility, the same here. We expect volatility in the markets of cryptocurrency. It's not somewhere we can come and expect a fine ride to the upside. That is very, very unlikely. If we take a look at the Bitcoin USDT chart, we can see here that we have unfortunately broken through that level of support at $26,600 to $26,900. If we take a look on the daily chart here, we are still keeping an eye on that head and shoulders pattern. If we take a look, if we remove all of these lines for now, I will bring them back up in a second. If we take a look at this inverse head and shoulders pattern, we've had that confirmation bounce from that neckline, now that shoulder level, and we do have a price target from this of all the way up there to down there. If we take that and move it to the point of breakout at $24,500, so we do need to keep an eye on that. But as I've been saying, even if that happens, we've got some really nice levels of support at those points, so it might be good for the price of Bitcoin. I always say if the price is moving down, we're building more support, so we're making a stronger foundation for the price of Bitcoin next time we move to to the upside. If Bitcoin moves up in a straight line, I'm getting worried. I'm getting nervous. If we see some volatility, if we build supports along the way, it's like a ladder. We know we've got that next step to fall back on if things start to turn south. So I'm all for seeing some volatility and seeing us retest some previous levels of resistance and using them as a support once again. So we will have to keep an eye on that. Obviously, we will be back here tomorrow with some more Bitcoin analysis and cryptocurrency news. So make sure to hit like and subscribe on today's video. Let's see how many likes we've got on today's stream. We are currently on countdown, drum roll please. We are currently on 14 likes for today's stream. We usually do well, but much better than this, and I thought today's thumbnail was really good. We'll have to try and beat that tomorrow, but that is all we have for today's stream. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all back here tomorrow. Goodbye.